Remember the New Year's party when you said, "Oh, I am so tired of talking about politics. Why don't those people go home?" Well, you know what? No longer is politics the #1 category of discussion. It's sports. That's why we have Adam Green, a sports enthusiast, fan, and has been in media doing sports for a long, long time. Is anybody still working? I mean, it seems like there's nothing but jobs open.
Yeah, and a couple of them were expected or at least anticipated, especially Bruce Arians. People thought he might retire.
Not in Tucson.
But in Tucson, yeah, that one kind of came out of nowhere for a lot of people. And the more that's come out as far as the story goes, the more you read, and you don't know what exactly is true of the alleged things that he may or may not have done. But the more you read, you're like, okay, I get why they did what they did, but still, it all happened so fast, at least for people like us who maybe weren't aware of investigations and all these other things. So for that job to be open right now was definitely a surprise.
Yeah, and weren't you surprised when it happened? Because it wasn't as if he had been a disaster as a coach. He had a pretty adequate record.
Yeah, they've surprised a lot of people, won 7 games this year. They were picked to finish last in the Pac-12 South. They made a bowl game, and they lost 4 of their last 5 games, which had a lot of people disappointed. But they also played a lot of the tougher teams in their last 5 games, too. So from 3 wins last year to 7 wins this year, it seemed like the on-field product, the on-field performance was good enough to keep the coach. And I know Dave Hickey, the athletic director, he's new, and he came out and said this is without cause. It has to do with what happened on the field, nothing else. But it's hard to really buy that, given that what happened on the field wasn't all that bad.
And what happened on the field is not going to be in a courtroom,
No.
at least from the standpoint of expectations. But, okay, U of A is open, Cardinals open, and so is the quarterback position with the Cardinals. Who will be replaced first?
I would think U of A, because they have a signing period coming up in the next month or so. They need to find that guy so they can get ready to hopefully bring in more recruits. For the Cardinals, it's about kind of taking it slow. We remember back to 2013, Bruce Arians was the last head coach hired from that group of coaches. So the Cardinals are going to take their time with that. A couple of the guys are they're in playoff games right now. They can't interview them. So there's no reason to rush into it if you're the Cardinals and finding your coach. And you're not going to find your quarterback until you find your coach. So
Pick an ideal quarterback right now before we run out of time.
An ideal quarterback, that short on time here? I mean, if Kirk Cousins was available, he would be a good fit. But the challenge is, too, is that you don't know what type of coach you're going to have and what type of quarterback he wants. When it was Bruce Arians, it was a big quarterback who could get the ball down the field, would take chances. If you get a coach who likes more of a play-it-safe type of offense, maybe Alex Smith, if the Chiefs let him go, would be a good fit, too. So you really can't tell what quarterback they're going to want until you figure out who their coach is going to be.
What a conundrum.
Yeah.
A puzzle wrapped in enigma, and it's all kind of fun for us to talk about. What's not fun is ASU last night in Colorado. That was kind of a surprise, particularly when you're talking about as high a ranked team as the previously undefeated before the U of A Sun Devils were.
Yeah, it's tough being the hunted. And that's what ASU has to deal with right now, is before they could sneak up on you, they were the unranked team. It was the plucky Sun Devils who, especially on the road, were Arizona's traveling partner, where everyone would be ready for U of A, and ASU could maybe surprise them. When you're number 4 in the country, and of course they won't be number 4 after this weekend, after the loss last night, but now teams are going to give you their best shot. The fans rushed the court after beating ASU last night, and when has that ever happened? So ASU's a good team. I wouldn't jump off the ship right now. But when you rely on three-pointers like they do, they made 9 of 33 last night. When you rely on getting to the free throw line like they do, they were outshot at the free throw line last night too. That's a tough way to win every single night, but they're still a good team.
Should the U of A be ranked higher? Should they have been ranked higher? And are they still living with the problems that they had after 3 losses in the tournament?
Yeah, they're undefeated in the continental U.S. on U.S. soil. And I think for Arizona, they were ranked 14th going to this week. They've won 8 in a row, now they're up to 9 in a row. They'll be fine. Rankings are one of those things where you don't even know who's doing the voting sometimes. They're all over the map as far as, I think one writer had them ranked 23rd after last week, which made no sense. He dropped them after beating ASU. So I wouldn't worry about the rankings too much for Arizona. They're still being punished a little bit for their Bahamas disaster. But at the same time, as long as they keep winning and playing the way they are, with Raleigh Alkins back in the lineup, with DeAndre Ayton being dominant down low, they'll be just fine.
Finally, quick answer to this one. The Adam Green prediction for who the Suns coach is eventually going to be. Will it be Jay Triano?
Well, he's got a better chance at the job than I think Earl Watson should have had when he was the interim guy. They're playing a little bit better with a young team and Triano's experience. So there's a
your
lot of
answer
basketball.
is?
I would say Triano right now, but we'll see what that job looks like by the end of the season.
A typical political answer from Adam Green on sports here on the Daily Mix.